Next up, at UFC 307, we have the featured fight of the evening. We have the King of Rio, Jose Aldo, taking on Mario Bautista. Jose Aldo, 32-8 in his career. 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off a successful return from retirement. He's taking on Mario Bautista, 14-2 in his career. 5-0 in his last 5. He is on a 6-fight win streak. This entire fight comes down to, do you think Jose Aldo is old and slowing down or not? Because skill for skill, Jose Aldo is the better fighter. Skill for skill, Jose Aldo is one of the best fighters that has ever walked the face of the earth. He's certainly the best 145-pounder of all time. He reminded us of that last year or earlier this year when he came out of retirement and then beat Jonathan Martinez. He's a great counter striker. He's got those phenomenal leg kicks that we've talked about for years. Very technical Muay Thai, great BJJ. His takedown defense quite literally might be the best ever. Merab Dvalishvili was 0 for 28 or something insane in that fight. He's listed at 38 years old. He is older than that. We've talked about that story many, many times. He's taking on Mario Bautista. Mario Bautista, high volume striker. Get one to give one kind of style. He sets a good pace. He's always plodding forward. He is light on his feet. And he has been steadily evolving these last few fights. And he is now on a 6-fight win streak. While primarily a striker, he has worked in 12 takedowns in those 6 fights. He's coming off that one-sided win over Ricky Simone, where he looked great moving forward. He wasn't worried about the wrestling, and he threw a bunch of combinations. And honestly, this entire breakdown is eventually Jose Aldo has to look old. He has to eventually, right? He can't just look young forever. He can't just be fast as shit, hitting hard. Like, he can't be great forever. He just can't. And is now the time. If this fight was a few years ago, Jose Aldo all day long. Not even close. All day. But he is getting older. And he did look good in that last fight, but I think some of that had to do with the fact that I think Jonathan Martinez was maybe a little frozen by the moment. He's fighting the King of Rio in Rio. I'm picking Mario Bautista, but I'm picking him at low confidence. I'm not betting on Mario Bautista here. I'll be squarely rooting for Jose Aldo, one of my favorite fighters of all time. Jakey boy, I told the people. What are you smiling at?
Finney got his contract. He did it, man. Third time's a charm.
Really?
Yep.
That was just, and all 3 were wins?
Yep.
Damn. He's that little Jack dude, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I told the people that our first UFC ever interaction was a Jose Aldo fight. I was telling you all week how he's going to beat the shit out of Conor McGregor. Then you come over, and that is not what fucking happened. And that's really what kicked off a friendship that is 10 years strong. Right, Jakey boy?
Is it my turn, or what's going on here?
Yeah, I picked Mario Bautista because I do think Jose is going to start to look old, but I don't love the pick, and I'll be rooting for Jose. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, these odds are closing, and I get it, because honestly, when you look at Mario Bautista's a good fighter, right? He's a well-rounded guy. He's got crazy cardio. He's probably going to have pace. I think he mentioned in a video or an interview or whatever that he's going to try Merab Aldo, because we saw last time that Aldo lost was in Salt Lake City against Merab, defended 20 fucking takedowns, was never taken down by Merab, but just the pace, the pressure, the holding of Merab ended up winning him that fight. If that's the game plan for Mario, and he's able to implement that game plan of just constant forward pressure, getting Aldo against the fence, trying to take him down, I don't think he's going to be able to take him down. Maybe he's able to get a takedown, but Aldo's just so hard to fucking take down.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments of that Jonathan Martinez fight, which, by the way, I was all over Jonathan Martinez. Right, I'm a big Jonathan Martinez guy. I said he's got the tools, he's got the range, the kicking. Aldo is not going to be able to get his boxing going because of the range, and John Martinez is going to be able to do what he does. My favorite moment of that fight was things weren't going well. Jonathan Martinez shot a takedown because he's got okay takedowns. He shot a takedown, actually got a deep single on Aldo, drove him to the fence, and DC started laughing. He said, "Listen, he's like, that's a good takedown." He's like, Jonathan Martinez is not going to be able to take down Jose Aldo. It was literally, he was deep on a single, and DC's like, I don't think people understand how good of takedown offense Jose Aldo had. He literally was like, He is not going to be able to take, like, didn't even consider there was even a slightest possibility that Jonathan Martinez was going to be able to. I just thought that was a funny moment. I actually think that Jonathan Martinez is a tougher matchup for a guy like Jose Aldo, because Jose Aldo wants to get in the pocket. He wants to box. He wants to counter box. And when he was doing that against Jonathan Martinez, you saw this dude does not fucking slow down. I mean, he looked as fast as ever. All that boxing that he did when he was, remember, he didn't retire and then go sit on the fucking couch.
He boxed.
He retired and said, "You know what? I want to try and become a professional boxer." And he had some boxing matches. So his hands are absolutely fucking still the speed of fucking lightning. And when you watch Mario Bautista, he's not a dangerous guy. He's got 3 TKO wins. One's a doctor stoppage, one's a knee, and one's in his very first UFC fight against a guy that's 0-7 in his career, all first-round losses. So the only guy he's actually knocked out in his entire career with his hands was a TKO in his very first pro fight against a guy that ended up being 0-7, knocked out in every single fight. So Mario Bautista is not a really dangerous guy with his hands, and if he can't get the takedowns, and this is just a mostly striking matchup, I think Jose Aldo fucking lights this dude up. I mean, I think that Mario Bautista probably is going to bring the pressure. His striking, to me, is pretty sloppy. If you watch him against Ricky Simón in those boxing exchanges, Ricky Simón was winning some of those boxing exchanges. Ricky Simón threw a nice left hand that knocked Mario Bautista down. Yeah, he was jumping in the air, he was a little off balance, but still, Mario Bautista does a lot of dumb fucking shit in striking exchanges. And I think that he is a guy that was really, really good and was beating people that weren't on his level. And I don't know if he's really been leveling up the way he should. And as that level starts reaching your level, you're going to get to a point where your stuff no longer works and you have to level up. I think that was what we saw with Brendan Allen, right? He was beaten. He was just better than people, right? But he never really improved. So as the competition got to his level, all of a sudden you saw, oh, maybe he's not as good as you think he is. And a lot of people didn't think he was. I thought he was. You gotta keep improving. I'm not saying that Mario Bautista isn't improving, because he probably is, but that fight against Ricky Simón, I think he looked slow with his hands. He was getting hit, and if he stands in front of Jose Aldo and tries to fucking box, he's gonna get fucking lit up. Now, this is elevation. Jose was slowing down against Merab, but Merab was bringing crazy pace, crazy pressure. I think Mario is a little bit in between that pressure, and Jose Aldo is going to be able to find those strikes. So it's hard to pick against the King of Rio in a fight where I believe he is the 10 times better boxer, and it's going to be mostly boxing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I want to agree with all of that. And none of your points are crazy. None of your points are wrong. Like, I'm rooting for that outcome. I love Jose. Dude, Jose Aldo is one of my favorite fighters of all time.
He's only lost against, he got sparked by Conor.
Best
He loses to Max, who's one of the best boxers of all time. Piotr Jan knocks him out like late in a 5-round fight. Even that first Max fight, he was lighting Max up in that first. I mean, he almost knocked Max down in that first fight and stuff. So he only loses against the top of the top, like really, really clean fucking boxers that can go toe to toe with him with speed and also can translate power as well. And I just don't think Mario Bautista was that guy. Even Jose Aldo at 37, 38, whatever it is.
Literally has only lost to 2-division world champion Conor McGregor, 2-belt champion, because the BMF belt and featherweight belt, Max Holloway. One of the all-time greats, Alexander Volkanovski. The Marlon Moraes win or loss is it was a split decision. And Piotr Jan, former world champion. Marlon and Merab, current champion. Marlon Moraes is the only loss he has that isn't to a current or former world champion. So I'm with you.
And Moraes is very good. He's very chinny. But skill-wise, he's very good.
Correct. Yeah, Moraes was basically, they were calling him Jose Aldo 2.0.
He was very good. If he had a chin, dude, he is literally, offensively, he is so fucking good.
100%. Yeah, listen, I'm not going to full flip. I'm still on the Mario side here. I just can't get age out of my head. And then elevation. He's going down to 135. Like, usually you get older, you go up in weight. He's getting older, he's coming down in weight. Like, those are the concerns I have. But, I mean, and I'm just...
He was so fast against Jonathan. It was crazy.
I know, and I'm fucking arguing with myself right now.
Dude,
because
it was crazy.
He didn't look old.
I rewatched that, and I'm like, holy shit, dude. The combos he was throwing, I mean, it looked like fucking prime Aldo the speed he was throwing that shit.
Well, and I'm literally arguing with myself right now, because I'm like, he's going to look old. And it's like, but he just fought 6 months ago and didn't look old then. Why would he look old now? But I have been telling myself, you don't think any of that was Jonathan Martinez? Like, oh my God, this moment's too big for me?
No, I mean, the speed is speed. And that's a rangy kicker like that is much harder to box than, especially he's a southpaw as well. So all that body work, those body shots that Aldo likes to dig in and stuff aren't really even there against a southpaw and Jonathan Martinez, a rangy southpaw kicker. And now you have an orthodox boxer. It's like, okay, I'll fucking take Aldo in a fucking boxing match against these guys all day.
Well, I'm going to be full rooting for Aldo. One of my favorite, I've said this a million times. I've been watching this sport since day one. You remember, literally, the very first fight you and I ever watched together was Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor. And did I not shut the fuck up about how good Jose Aldo is?
You were trying to make sure I was let down easy because you're like, listen, I know that you like this Conor guy, but it is like basically like it is not going to go well for him. Like, I understand you're new to this sport. Like, Jose's been there, done. And then you did the same thing with Eddie Alvarez, too. You're like, dude, Eddie Alvarez is so tough, dude. 155 champion. You're like, I understand that you think Conor's good, but this is a whole different level. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was. And actually, the first three fights, or at least the first three big ones I could think of, it was also Holly Holm and
the first two cards we ever watched was the Holly Holm. I never watched Ronda. I've never seen Ronda Rousey win a fight. That's the craziest part. She had that. I came in right when Conor took over and Ronda was out the door. I've never seen Ronda Rousey win a fight.
I know, which is crazy. You came in my opinion, not to get too off topic, I think you came in at the end of the greatest era of this sport. You've obviously seen some awesome shit, and we've seen some wild fights and some huge superstars, but I think the greatest era ever was like right at the end of the Tito Chuck stuff leading into that next generation.
There's a lot of stuff now where it's a lot of forced stuff. It's a lot of forced matchups. It's a lot of forced
many fights.
Social media stuff. It's a lot of forced storylines that they force on you and stuff, where back in the day it probably was all just real stuff. I mean, that's like I don't watch wrestling anymore, but a lot of people still like wrestling these days. Like, you don't understand what wrestling used to be. I mean, that's
man.
Oh my God.
Is somebody just, and we're going way off topic, somebody, I think it was Josh actually said, watch the Mr. McMahon documentary.
I started watching that, and then it came up and it was like almost all of these interviews were before the sexual allegation stuff. I was like, well, I guess
they do eventually address it. I did ask them.
I literally saw that, and I was like, well, then I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, the wild stories that we heard. Yeah, I guess it was just like how he built it all and stuff, but I don't know. I will check that out because
I was always a WCW guy anyway, so.
So was I. Yeah, I love Booker T and Goldberg.
I He was like the most hated wrestler of all time. I guess
I saw those clips because he has no actual skills.
Yeah, he had no idea. He was like hurting people, and so he had no idea how to wrestle. And he was an asshole too.
Which seems odd because he seems like a good dude, but maybe he's just nice now that he's old and not on the sauce. But who knows? All right, we're off topic.